Hello, everyone. Welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. We are in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
4 games to go.
Yes.
Packers are still in the hunt after their 31-13
What do you mean
victory.
still in the hunt? They've always been in the hunt.
Well, I'm talking about for the NFC
Well, you got to clarify that now.
home field advantage.
Because I know you media people love to say negative
Well, and they're
stuff.
still in the hunt for the NFC North.
Oh, I
because
like
Minnesota
the way you're talking
lost.
now. I like it.
You know, I still think it's going to come down to that Minnesota game. I think
It might.
no denial about that.
It might.
You know, some of them did point out they could lose if they could lose the Minnesota game, win those other 3, and still make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because they would win a tiebreaker with the Vikings.
But Matt LaFleur teaches us to go 1-0.
Well, yeah.
So we get how fans think and how because that's your job. But as players, you know they're thinking, I got 2 rookies back to back. We got to take advantage of this.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, we got to go in there and put our catcher's mitt on and get the interceptions and try to develop a dominating defense.
This is exactly. This is where you get better.
Yes.
You take this time to get better because you're
Yep.
heading for the playoffs, right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And so that's a good question. So did they get better against the Giants?
Well, I think in some areas they did, but some areas, the same old Packers, and that's disturbing because this is after a bye week. We've talked about explosion plays. You know, the player, we're going to draw up an X's and O's. For some reason, Tom always picks a play that it was something to do with the safety. I don't know why you're doing that. But, you know, you have to look at this realistically and say that people will say, why do they play such a passive defense, such a soft defense? We've had areas to where Fritz Shermer would come in, okay? He would come in, and we're a dominating defense, but he would come in and say, okay, guys, this week we're going to just put our catcher's mitt on. The guy's going to throw us some. We're not going to put a lot of stress in the secondary. We'll rush 4, maybe 5, rotate here or there, just no big plays. But what would bother him is the 43-yarder. That would bother him because you're in the one coverage. If I had to rewind that play, the one we're going to show you, I would play that coverage. But that coverage, the quarters coverage, is the weakness of the Packer defense.
Yeah.
And this
It's supposed to be one of the easiest to play, right?
Yes, you stay in your nothing gets you out of your quarter. Nothing. If a guy's in your quarter, you defend him. If he's not, don't move. Stay there. These offenses are drawing up plays to attack your 2 safeties because they're too aggressive. Tom, I always tell young safeties, your first step in a zone should be back. You can always come up.
Yeah.
You got 7 guys up there to take care of the run. Let them do their job. Don't take a fake. Because if you do go back, you know, you can always come up, like I said, but if you come forward, Tom, and we're going to show this, 1 foot forward, when this guy is sprinting, he's already on top of you. So, and I mean,
You can't recover from that.
No, you can't, because if you turn and run, if the quarterback sees your name, he's going to throw the ball. And in this league, even Dwayne Haskins can make that throw. But this was Daniel Jones throwing a seam route on quarters.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, all week during practice, they looked at the George Kittle play and said, you know what? We're praying if we get trips during quarters. And this is why I want you to throw the ball. Because you pointed out they had a guy backside, ran a corner route. He was wide open.
Yeah.
And I get what people are saying, and I understand it. You won 31-3 or something like that. Why are you pointing out these things? Because if they're ever one and done, we're going to come back to say this was the reason.
Yeah, and the thing is, you have to remember the Giants are a 2-10 football team.
Well, 2-9 at the time. So.
Yeah, and you're going to play a much better team in the playoffs.
Better quarterback.
Yes, and a better quarterback.
Yes.
And everything is moving towards this Vikings game. So you have to use these 2 games to sharpen your tools.
Yeah,
so
and that's fair. That's fair.
You know, and I don't know. I don't know whether they sharpened anything on defense.
If I'm Pettit and the assistants, I'm to the end with trying to fundamentally get my guy to not to be so aggressive. We have plays to where you can be aggressive. Because I know what people are saying. Pettit may not be the right guy, but some of this stuff is not his fault. Some of this stuff is the players are being too aggressive in moments they don't need to be. Mm-hmm. In quarters coverage, that's when you get most of your interceptions. You can stay in your quarters, and sometimes you get these tips. Sometimes you get overthrows, like Savage got an overthrow. Sometimes you switch it up and do two-man. Now, 20 gets his interception. Mm-hmm. So it just, but everybody's going to look at 20, 23, 26, and 31, and they're going to say, why don't these guys have a lot of picks? Why do they have guys running open in the secondary? Some of it's their fault, some of it's not. But the point you hit on is just key. Kevin King, to me, I think one day can be a real first-class Pro Bowler. But he has to use his length and his speed. And then you have to understand that within the confines of the defense, use that to your advantage.
Yeah, and one of the things that Pettin talked about during the week was communication was bad. Actually, LaFleur did first.
Yes.
And they've got to get him better in communication. And the irony of the play that we're going to show is that they're communicating.
Yes.
They're looking all over, talking to each other, and they still blew it.
Yeah, that's what drives assistant coaches mad. It's just like Aaron Rodgers. He has mechanisms to Scantling. Okay, listen. We got trips here. It's a hot guy running in my face. I want you to sit down so I can throw you the ball. But you keep running.
Right.
To a veteran, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Look at Tom Brady. He's telling guys, listen, we go through this stuff. We talk about it, Tom. You don't even understand. We talk about it with the coaches, amongst ourselves, at dinner. Listen, I got a call just for me and you. Brett Favre used to tell Tremura if he wanted to run a stick and go, they had to play with Y stick. If Brett said, they're in quarters, the middle linebacker's a little aggressive, Chewy, do it. Chewy, nobody know what they were talking about. Chewy know to run a stick it up, touchdown.
Well,
those are kind of things
you bring that up.
Communication has to work.
Because on the touchdown to Mercedes Lewis,
absolutely,
he and Rodgers had talked about him releasing if they get the right look.
Yes.
And he's yelling, the actual call was big dog, which is what they call Mercedes Lewis, big dog, big dog. And we've seen him go, Gmo, sit down on the one. I mean, literally telling him what to do.
Yes.
And those things work out, but with some guys it just doesn't click in.
Well, it has to if you're talking about winning a Super Bowl. And I think that's what Aaron Rodgers was talking about in the spring when people were saying that he's going to change all these plays and whatever. And he said, well, you can't take all of my experience and take it away from me. That's what he's saying. Mm-hmm. So the coaches, once the communication is on, okay, say coach is giving me a play, and I recognize there's 13 guys on the field. Mm-hmm. I'd be at Aaron Rodgers without the $100 million, by the way. Hey, Mayday. Scantling, you got to know what to do. Mm-hmm. I know 17 does. 81, you got to know what to do. Mm-hmm. Offensive line, it's a free play. Don't let nobody run and hit me for free, okay? Because they're going to keep coming. And I'm going for the jugular vein. Right. That happens. That's not him ignoring the coaches. That's most generals. They give you a plan, and then you run across that hill. Yeah. And I think that's what's good about it.
What are the things that I think we're going to see, and I think we saw a little bit of sign of it in this game, is that they're going to start paring down who they're using. I mean, if you saw,
that's a great point.
Lazard got way more snaps than Valdez-Scantling. So now's the time you got to go with the guys you trust, right?
Tom, that is a fantastic point. That's why they pay you a lot of money here.
Yeah.
Because all year they've been thinking about who's going to be the number 2 receiver. Lazard has earned the right from where he's come from.
Yeah.
Where he's come from. Because he had a great preseason, and he was patient, and he's made some big catches. And I think overall, you change his number, after you release one of the tight ends or whatever, make him an 80 and make him your pass-catching tight end. Move him inside, block,
Well, they sort of use
get
him
him
like
down
that
the middle.
anyways. They put him
Yeah,
in that
that's true.
flex position, or they
but
put
they're
him
not
right
getting
behind the tackle.
They're not getting anything from the tight ends other than I'm talking about down the field. So he could be that. So you're right about this, and we used to do that. Some guys, you're just gonna play special teams. Owen Burks, you're just gonna play when it's a blowout.
That's right.
I got to put guys out that I trust.
Exactly. There's no.
Yes. I never thought about that. You're right about it. That's what December is all about.
Well, you also saw that on defense with Montravius Adams is not
Yes.
playing anymore. I mean, they're
And
hardly
he was
giving
playing
him,
early.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oren Burks
Now
is
Lancaster's
not
playing a little bit more.
playing. Yeah, and Rashawn Gary is not playing very much. I mean, they've just decided they need the guys, you know, who are.
And they
who are,
sprinkled in Fackrell.
Oh yeah, but Fackrell can still play.
Yeah,
Fackrell
he's
is a
one of the guys you're
contributor.
going to count on. But you're right about Gary, Adams, and these guys. They're going to be watching
Yeah.
because it's one and done. There's no.
Yeah, you
There's no
can't-
losers
yeah,
bracket.
you can't blow a coverage in
Yeah.
fourth quarter in the playoffs and expect to have a redo because it's done. I mean, if you get beat physically, okay. You
They
know,
get
no
paid
one's-
too. That's
yeah.
fine. But there's no reason.
But if
If
you're
I
getting
give you-
beat mentally,
It shouldn't happen to veterans.
Yeah.
And a veteran to me is a true player who's been in the league 3 years. You're a veteran. To where you understand this game, understand what it takes to take care of your body, take care of your mind and your soul. And you love your teammate next to you. So much so that I will not hang you out to dry by not knowing what to do.
yeah.
That's why they change
That's a good
coaches
point.
every year. They
Yeah.
fire 7 guys. I mean,
Speaking of which, I want to bring this point up. So let's switch to offense.
yeah.
Talk about switching coaches. What I see now is a tiny bit of Matt LaFleur's offense. We saw it on the first touchdown drive.
Yes.
That beautifully designed play where there's all kinds of guys crossing and
Yes.
Devontae Adams right in the middle. And
Great
we're going to
design.
diagram that.
Great design by
But
LaFleur.
then the rest of the game, it's Aaron Rodgers running around,
Like
making
Mike McCarthy?
off-schedule plays. So I guess the point is, and I'm asking you this question, is does it matter what the system is with Aaron Rodgers? Is he just going to do what
man, that's a good
he
question.
does? Is he going to play to his strengths and the system doesn't matter?
Once you're platinum, you can never be bronze. So whatever he does is going to work. Here's why we're going to magnify it a little bit, because this is LaFleur's first year. And remember now, it was just so tumultuous last year. It was bad, 6-9-1. I mean, the biggest game really was last year in that stadium when they beat the Jets. After that, 31-0 against Detroit.
Yeah.
The last 2 years out of the playoffs with a Hall of Fame quarterback. This year, and I think LaFleur said this, and I'm a big LaFleur guy, as you probably know. He said somewhere along the line, layman's term or Cliff Notes, we're going to keep some stuff we did before, because that's what the guys know. They've been in this system for 13 years. But my stuff will come in, slowly and make it work. But people are going to point back to how can he manage it? He's a great manager. He doesn't get in the way of his players. So if Aaron Rodgers wants to do something, that I'm gonna back him on it.
But the whole idea in hiring LaFleur was that this guy's going to take pressure off the quarterback. He's got a system, that works, and Rodgers will learn to play within the system. It's going to really help him, and we're not really seeing that.
Well,
I think we're seeing him play a lot of street ball.
Well, here's why I think that I don't disagree, but here's why I will defend it. Each week, don't you see a different player being the hero? In past, you see Devontae, every week he's the hero.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, every week he's the hero. Now, it could be Jamal Williams, it could be Alan Lazard.
Yeah, that is
It could
true.
be different guys. That's overall under the umbrella of Matt LaFleur. He wants everybody to be happy. Okay, you know what, Aaron Jones? You had 10 carries for 18 yards. I get it. I see the stats. Next week, you're going to have 20 carries for for 105 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I get
And
what
that's
you're
a consistency that works, but he wants everybody to get involved. That's why he splits time with 30 and 33. I mean, and I think that's a good coach to be a good manager, that everybody gets some involved. Because we've seen this for years that Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb, we could pick who's going to be the big plays every week. This team, you can't.
Yeah, we're going long here, but
Yeah.
I'll just throw this last thing out, which is that I think the idea, the personnel philosophy for this offense is you build up your offensive line,
Yes.
and your running backs. You don't care about your wide receivers. You don't have to have great wide receivers. You don't have to have great tight ends. You can get a third-round tight end. But I don't think that's the case here. I think with Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have to go out and get some more, big-time wide receivers. You're going to have to play with more talent because of all the off-schedule stuff. That's my little
No,
rant.
it's okay.
I think that's
fair.
going to be the change in philosophy they'll have.
I think that's
We'll
fair.
see.
For this first year, he's done some unprecedented things. That'll get to my prediction. They're playing
Yeah, let's go to
Washington,
prediction.
another rookie quarterback.
Yep.
But Geis and Adrian Peterson
Good running game.
have a very good running game. They're going to run the ball. It's going to be cold. But ultimately, I think the Packers will beat them. And now in November, movement month. In December, you want to have seeding month. So you got to win these games to have proper seeding, and we talked about that.
Yep.
So I think they'll win 31-21. Now people are going to say, how are they going to score 21 points? It's not about what they score. It's about what the Packers score.
Yeah.
And you'll see Aaron Jones being one of the heroes. Last thing, I'm so grateful to God that you have Mason Crosby as the kicker. The kickers in this league are pathetic. For him to fly down with his brother, because his sister-in-law passed away, fly back, do all of that. It's been a rock for his wife, Molly. And to make a 47-yarder in the rain and snow is amazing.
And you know what? I'll give you a little story about that. On Friday, I had no idea that this had happened. No reporters did. And I was doing a story on special teams, and I went up to him to talk to him. And he was like, oh, and then he's like, okay. And he gave me an interview. And it's just,
my guy.
it's like I feel horrible about that, but I didn't know. And that just shows what he's just a solid guy.
And he's a man to know that you
guy.
didn't really know. It's certain things like that are private because people deal with this stuff differently.
No, but I'm going to tell him when I see him,
Yeah.
you should have told me, no, I got to go. I got a personal, whatever.
And you
but
would have
anyways,
respected that.
It's just,
Yeah.
the reason I bring it up is because he's such a class act.
Oh, no question. I'm glad to have him. So we'll see y'all in X and O's, and I'm going to get very emotional because it has something to do with the safety.
Yeah, that's right. And so don't forget to tune into that, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.